So you talked about the hesitation a couple of times. Have you figured out where the source of that was, why there was the hesitation?
You know what? I'm not the type of guy to make excuses, but I literally, if I sat there and I thought about it, there's a lot of things going on. That was the biggest card in UFC history, Madison Square Garden. The fans was crazy. I mean, the whole event was just nuts. And, you know, Chris Weidman would tell you it's his fault. And I'm not going to give him that. You know what I mean? I'm a professional. Of course, I saw him, and he's one of my best friends, and seeing that happen to him is just devastating. But I'm a pro. I'm a professional athlete, and I know what it takes to get out there and do what I need to do. But to me, I'm not letting that get to me. You know what I mean? I went out there and did what I had to do, but it just wasn't enough. I went back and watched the fight. I was like, man, what was I thinking? I could have done this, I could have done that. My coaches ate me alive going back and watching that fight, knowing I could have done a whole lot better than what I did. But you know what? When it comes down to it, you got your good days and you got your bad days. Even in sparring, even in training, for a week I'll sit here and smoke my sparring partner in sparring, and that one day he smokes me, and it's like, what the heck? You got your good day, and that just wasn't a good day for me. But knowing that I wasn't 100%, and I went 5 minute rounds with the champion, took his best shot, tried to submit me, that gives me the fuel, man, the fire to go back out there and do it again. It gives me the confidence to go back out there and do it again.
How are you going to turn it around for this one?
You know what? Like I said, knowing that, man, I'm bringing in great guys for this camp. Really good guys coming in to help me prepare for this. And knowing that I'm training as hard as I can, if there's any doubt going into this next fight, you've already lost, right? So it's in preparation for the fight. So I'm putting out everything I possibly can into this camp and being ready for that. So that's what drives me to go out there and just be able to do what I do and have fun with it. To me, my real job, I teach kids classes, teach karate classes. That's my job. I do this for the fun of it. Honor and the glory, money's just a bonus. But it's one of those feelings where, like, I don't have to win this to be happy, Went to my very first UFC fight, I think it was UFC 2 or 3 in Charlotte, North Carolina with my dad. I was 12 years old, told him then, this is what I'm going to be doing. And I'm just blessed to be where I'm at, to be honest with you.
You mentioned kind of having to prod him a little bit on social media and move this thing along. Where was your head at? Because, I guess there's the argument to be made that he's the champ and it's his right to kind of see what's out there. Everybody's trying to cash in on big money fights or whatever. But at the same time, the fight that you guys had, the way it ended, it seemed like the natural fight is to do it again. So what was your take the whole time as he's kind of exploring other options?
Well, of course, immediately after the fight, he was talking about, we have unfinished business. I know Dana White was talking about it, immediate rematch. So in my head, I was like, oh, we're doing this. But the next thing you know, he's talking about other fighters, talking about George, Nick Diaz, Conor McGregor, even going up a weight class fighting Bisping. So I'm like, he's talking about these other guys, but the guy he drew with, And in my head at the time, I'm like, how can the champion be okay with that? I know I wouldn't be. I feel like I wouldn't win. It's like the belts of participation trophy right now, and it's just not that way. So I'm thinking, I'm thinking at the time, he's talking about everybody else but me. So I had already signed the contract in December, early December before Christmas break, and so I was just waiting on him. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to post this up. It was a picture of me and him, both of our hand raised with my signature, and I just said, waiting on you, my friend. And of course, not knowing at the time, he was already getting ready to sign the contract. Obviously, he was talking, kind of, playing the game, so to speak, but it helped it along a little bit, made it a little bit faster. So it's, it's part of the game, and I'm enjoying every minute of it.
I got to ask you how you felt yesterday. He made some headlines with his comments about how race, plays into promotion and that sort of thing, and you're kind of sitting there next to him. What was your feeling like at that time? Was it uncomfortable for you? Did you buy into anything that he was saying? What was that whole experience like for you?
You know what? Yeah, I really didn't. I haven't seen his side of everything. I've never spent time with him and what goes about with the UFC and the management. But in my head, I'm thinking, John Jones, one of the best guys out there, who's one of the biggest stars in the UFC at the time. And, of course, he was kind of his own enemy there. Anderson Silva, another guy, one of the best guys. He's the GOAT. You know what I mean? I'm looking at these fighters, I'm like, these guys, to me, it hasn't been treated any differently, but obviously I haven't seen his side, haven't been around him, haven't seen what's going on with the UFC. But who doesn't know Tyron? I don't know what the money's like. I don't know what they've negotiated with, endorsements or anything like that. I don't know. So, but all these other names are popping in my head, like I don't see it, And for me, I'm looking at Tyron saying, you know what? Focus on the fight. Just focus on the fight. Don't worry about all this other stuff till after, because I want to fight the best Tyron Woodley. And I don't want him focused on this and not focus on the fight. You know what I mean? So that was my whole take on it. I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question.
You did.
Right? But
you did. We'll talk about the rematch itself. I mean, obviously, you still got some time, but how do you see it coming together? Because, I mean, you're saying, he didn't do some of the things he's best at. You didn't do some of the things you're best at. But, the way your guys' styles match up, I mean, do you see another kind of a 5-round, back and forth, fight of the night type fight?
You know what? That's what I'm preparing myself for. I never go out there looking for the knockout or predicting a knockout. If it happens, happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm prepared knowing that I can go balls to the wall, all 5-minute rounds. I know if I can do that, he's going to break in there somewhere. My goal is just to break him while I'm out there in the fight. Just to be aggressive, just to be relentless. And no matter what, it's going to be exciting, man. This is round 2. Obviously, the first fight I thought promoted itself. We got fight of the night. It was talk of being the fight of the year. So, man, everybody tune in. March 4th, baby. Tickets go on sale tomorrow? Yes.